Hi guys, I'm Ivory and welcome to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing 3 looks using the Festival by Juvia's eyeshadow palette. And at the very end of this video, I'll be giving a more in-depth review about how I feel about this eyeshadow palette. For anyone that is interested in this palette, it has 9 shades. There are different finishes. There are mattes and metallics, and it retails for $20. Before we get into the video, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I post new videos every single week. And also be sure to follow me on my social media. Everything is _ivorypcherry. Alright, so before I begin with the tutorial, you guys know I like to do a little preview of every single look so you know what you're getting into. So the first look is like a orangey, peachy, half cut crease. At least that's what I remember it looking like. I did it a couple days ago and I kind of forgot, but I feel 90% confident that's what it looked like. Low key, I'm gonna be pretty embarrassed if I'm wrong. The second one is a turquoise smoky eye with a hot pink lower lash line. And the third look is the one that I'm wearing now. It's a very easy yellow look with a little bit of a faded black on the outer corner, just to add a little bit of like a smoky spiciness to it. I felt like the first 2 looks were pretty colorful, so I wanted to have a wearable look somewhere in the mix. I don't like wasting my time, and I feel like you guys are the same. So as always, all of the timestamps for each of the looks as well as my final review will be in my description box below so that you can skip around. Okay, so for all the looks, I'm first priming my eyes with the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define foundation, and then I apply that all over my lid, and I use that to clean up my brows. And then with the NYX white eyeshadow primer, I'm gonna take any brush and I'm just gonna pat that on top. So with a fluffy brush, I'm first going into the shade Manwu. I apologize in advance if I butcher these names. I believe these are Nigerian inspired, so I may not know how to phonetically pronounce these, but I'm gonna pronounce them the way I feel like they would be pronounced. But I'm going to take this color and it's going everywhere except the actual lid, since you can see on the other eye that I cut the crease. Is anyone tired of cut creases? I feel like I do them so often, so I don't know if people are like, okay, show us something else, or if you're like, no, I still like seeing them, keep doing them. And with this color, you're just going to pat and kind of create in a somewhat semicircle shape and really stamp it down to get as much pigment as you can. I like to do a lot of the heavy lifting, I guess, and do all the steps first, and then when I'm almost done with the look, that's when I start to fine-tune things. Because if I spend all my time perfecting this one step, a lot of the times when I add more colors, it blends it away, so all my hard work just goes away. So it's better to just get the big picture, move on, and then go back. All right, and then with a flat shader brush, I'm gonna go in with my Maybelline Age Rewind Concealer. Gonna use that to cut the crease. Alright, and then with another flat shader brush, I'm going to go into the shade Uli, and I'm going to use this dry, and I'm going to pat that everywhere that we just cut the crease. And I'm using this brush to be really precise because I want the cut crease to stay sharp, but you'll see later on right in the middle, I'll use my finger because I feel like that just makes it a lot more metallic, but of course my finger is not as precise as this brush. Next, with a Sigma E44 brush, I'm going to go into the shade Ofala. I'm going to pat that into the outer corner, first stamping it down, as I always do, and then buffing it out. And then after, with the same brush, I went in with both Ofala as well as Azafa, because I felt like the outer edges weren't dark enough, so I added a little bit more of that dark shade to create a little bit more contrast. And then with a Morphe M506 brush, I'm going to go back into the first shade that we used. I'm going to use that to buff out all of the edges. This is when I'm going to start fine-tuning everything. So I'm first blending, and then I'm gonna go back into all the shades to make sure that they're nice and intense. All right, so I'm gonna take a cotton round and get rid of some of this fallout. It's not much, in case anyone worries about that type of thing, but I personally don't. For this look, I'm gonna try and do my under eyes first before I put on the rest of my face. I saw Makeup by Tiffany J do this, and I was like, I want to try it and see if I like this. So I'm just taking my concealer and applying it like I would as if my foundation is already on. I did it on this eye and it's unset, and it's like weird that I haven't set it yet. Like the fact that it's been unset and just chilling there for the past 30 minutes is odd to me. I'm also going to take my NYX eyeshadow primer, add that to my lower lash line. It's all going to get covered up, so don't worry about being super precise with this. All right, so first with the fluffy brush, I'm going to go back into the first shade that we used, and I'm going to smoke out my lower lash line. And then with a Morphe M410 brush, I'm going to mix both Ofala as well as Azafa again, and I'm going to use that to tightline my lower lash line. And once again, I just want to blend it so that nothing seems harsh. All right, next I'm going to take the Rimmel Soft Kohl white eyeliner. I'm going to apply that to my waterline. And then with an angle brush, I'm going into the shade ABBA. ABBA? Wait, no, ABBA is the band. Maybe they're pronounced the same, I'm not sure. But I'm going to take that shade. I'm going to apply that right on top of the white. You guys know I love a fun waterline. This color is so pretty. I think it's my favorite shade out of the entire palette. I'm gonna fast forward the rest of my face, but as you know, all of the products that I use are always in my description box below. Alright, so this is the first completed look. A couple side notes. I went ahead and used this lash shade, the golden one, as my highlight on my cheeks, on my nose, and on my brow bone. Second thing, doing concealer before my foundation, I don't like that idea. I ended up having to redo my lower lash line because as I was adding powders, it was just fading away and all my hard work was just kind of getting blended away. So just a forewarning that that technique, it didn't work out for me. It might for you, but I'm just gonna keep doing things the way that I know works for me. And with that being said, let's move on to look number 2. All right, so for this look, I'm first going in with a fluffy brush and going into this mustard yellow. This is the shade Oro, and I'm gonna stamp that all over my lid. And when I say I stamp the color first before I blend, I literally mean I like tap into it 2 or 3 times, I press down, and then I do it again. That way I get the same amount of pigmentation every single time I press down. It seems like a lot of work, or maybe it's tedious, but it works. And I'm actually gonna apply this on the lid too. Usually I add a gap here. It'll take a little bit of time to build up, but once you have that shape down, that is when I'm gonna start blending these edges. Okay, once that color is down, I'm going in with the Sigma E25 brush. I'm gonna go into the shade Abba again. I really like this color in the first look, so I wanted to use it more again. I'm gonna apply that all over the lid. And I need to stress that you have to be careful if you want to achieve this look. I actually had to redo this eye because I messed it up the first time. So you wanna start off small because when you blend outwards, you're gonna take up more space. So you're gonna start off with like a small circle, and then I'm gonna take an even smaller tapered brush and I'm gonna blend the edges. And as you can see, like this is still too small, so I will make the circle bigger. But the first time I did this, I got a little overzealous and I made the semicircle too big, and then it covered up the yellow and it just wasn't, it was just a hot mess. So learn from my mistakes, guys. And just so you know, I'm applying all these metallics dry and they are so nice. I mean, they're just doing all the work for me. I'm gonna go back in again and blend these edges. This is a good technique to do if you don't want to do a cut crease and you don't like those sharp edges. Once you lay down that metallic so that it doesn't look super sloppy and half-assed, just take a tapered brush like this and just blend out the edges so that everything is seamless. I'm gonna take a Morphe M506 brush and I'm gonna go back into the first shade that we used. I'm just gonna re-intensify that color. I'm gonna go back and forth with this mustard yellow and the turquoise color quite a bit. And then lastly, with a clean fluffy brush, I'm gonna go into the last shade, this golden one, and very lightly, only in the middle, I'm just gonna apply that right on top of the turquoise, because why not? Why not take a crazy chance? Why not do a crazy dance? You know what's funny? About a month ago, me and my friend were having dinner and she was talking about Lizzie McGuire and how she actually went to the movie theater to watch the Lizzie McGuire movie, which I never did. I mean, I watched it, but I never went to theaters to see it. I told her that I never watched that movie in theaters, but that I watched Freaky Friday in the movie theaters on my birthday. And she thought my movie choice was weird. And I'm like, excuse me, mine had Chad Michael Murray in it, so that definitely gets a pass. At least in my eyes it does. I just think it's funny that she thought I was odd when she's the one watching Lizzie McGuire on the big screen. Like I'm the weird one. Oh, okay. Okay, so now that you look like a peacock, I'm gonna move on to my lower lash line. So first I'm gonna take a flat shader brush, go back into my eyeshadow primer, add this to the lash line. You know the drill. If you are new here and you don't know the drill, this is the drill. And then with a Morphe M506 brush, I'm gonna go into the shade Eerie G. I'm gonna place that on my lower lash line. I think this is the first time that I'm introducing a new color on the lower lash line that wasn't already on my lid, but I figured why not? Life's about taking chances, and it's just makeup, so it just comes right off. All right, so this is the second completed look. Not gonna lie, I wasn't super feeling it, but now that the whole face is done and lashes make such a big difference. But now that everything is put together, I like it a lot more. Definitely have some Cosmo Wanda vibes going on. Not intentional, but it happened. But this is the completed look, so let's move on to the third and final look. Okay, so for the last look, I'm going in with my fluffy brush once again, and I'm gonna go into the shade Oro, and I'm gonna apply that all over the lid. And since my base is done, I'm also gonna apply it to my lower lash line, so that way I don't have to go back in later and do my lash line separately. I only put one color in my lower lash line, so it makes things simple enough. And since this color is pretty muted on my skin, I don't have to worry about it going too low. Like even though it goes kind of low, it's subtle on my skin tone since there's not a big contrast. But generally when I do neutral-ish colors like this, it doesn't look very bad on me if I go super low. So I can be kind of careless with it. And then with my finger, I'm gonna go into the lash shade, the golden one. I'm gonna add that to 2/3 of my lid. I don't know how people can do this with like super long nails. Like my nails are not even that long and it's like super hard to see and get in the crack. When I was in nail school, we used to do our nails on each other all the time to practice, and this girl was practicing acrylics on me. I went to the gas station. I was in high school, so I was broke. So I went inside to tell them I wanted like $5.50 of gas. And as I'm trying to take out the change, I couldn't pick up my change out of my wallet because my nails were so thick. Like I could not get used to it. It drove me nuts. So after they came off, they never went back on. Okay, and then with a smaller taper brush, I'm gonna go into the shade Kiliki, but I'm also gonna mix a little bit of Oro. I'm gonna put that on the outer V, and the reason why I mixed in Oro is because by itself, it's a little too dark for me. I didn't like that, so I wanted to tone it down with the yellow since it's already on the lid. I'm gonna flick that upwards and kind of make like a faux wing, like a smoky wing. With a flat shader brush, I'm gonna go back into the gold and kind of just blend the two together just so that there's a nice gradient between the two. I want more gold than black. And then with a pencil brush, I'm gonna go into the shade Uli and add a little bit to my brow bone. Not too much, I don't want this to be super bright. And then with the same pencil brush, I'm actually gonna go into the last shade again. I'm gonna use that to highlight my nose. I did that with the first look and I really like the way that turned out. I'm doing this look a couple days after the first look, so I already edited the first two looks and I wasn't too sure about using this as a highlight, but then when I went to go edit my footage, I was like, ooh, I like the way that turned out. It's cute. I'm gonna go in with my Maybelline mascara and I'm gonna apply that to both my top and bottom lashes. I'm not worrying too much about the top lashes because I am going in with falsies. And for lashes, I'm using the ones from Eyelure. I think they're called Opulent Mink, but I'm not totally sure, so I'm gonna put them in the description box below. Everything is in my description box below, you already know that. Some of you guys have asked me how I apply false lashes. I can do an in-depth tutorial if that's something that you really want, but I figured I would do a mini one right now since I'm gonna apply them. So these have been used before, so they're already cut to my liking. I don't like when my lashes are super close to my inner waterline because if I close my eyes really hard, your eyes will water. You don't want that. And I always cut on the outside, never on the inside. Once you feel like it's a good size, you're gonna take the band and you're gonna bend it a little bit. These are already pretty bent because I've worn them a couple times. And then you're gonna take your glue. I prefer the one with a wand just because it distributes the glue a little bit better, but I found this and I'm not a waster, so I'm gonna use this, but for beginners, I will say that the one with a wand from Duo is the one I like the most. And if you are a beginner, get the one that is clear. Don't get the one that is black, because if you mess it up, if you go too high, you're gonna have the imprint of black glue. There's no coming back from it. You're gonna take the glue and distribute a thin line onto your lash band. So once I have the glue all over the lash band, I go back and I'm like boop, 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 boop at the very ends. And then my best trick is every beauty guru will tell you to wait at least 30 seconds so that the glue gets tacky. I have found out that that does not work on me. Every single time I wait that long and then I put them on, they come right off. So once I have the glue, I wait like maybe 5 to 10 seconds. It's not super wet, but it's pretty immediate. So 5 to 10 seconds, I put it on and then I place it. You should be looking down at your mirror. It helps you get as close to your lash line. Now, some people will ask, do I put false lashes on my eyelashes? No, you put it on your eyelid, like the closest you can get to your eyelashes, but still on your eyelid. Once it's secure, then you go to the ends and you push. And I slowly make my way from outwards to inwards. You could do the opposite, inwards to outwards. But at the ends, I make sure to hold a little bit longer. And once I feel like it's pretty secure, I'm gonna move on to the other eye, but I am gonna go back to this one eventually, but hold up, we're not there yet. So I'm gonna move on to the other eye. Now that the lash glue is on there, 5 to 10 seconds, wait. If you use the lash glue with a wand, I wait like 3 to 5 seconds, but because this one is a little bit thicker, I wait 5 to 10 seconds. And then looking down, you want to place it. I hold it in the middle. Now, when you apply it, the glue should still be movable. That way you can still adjust. Like if I put it too close to my inner corner, I want to have it still be wet so that I can drag it outwards. And then I take my tweezers or your lash applicator. You could also use your fingers. And once again, you're going to hold it a little longer at the end so that they're super secure. Now that false lashes are on, I will take my tweezers, or you could take your fingers. That'd be fine too, because at this point it's completely dry. And I'm going to squish my false lashes with my real ones, just so that there's no gap. So this is the third and final look, so let's take this time to review the palette. So the good thing is, should I start with the good or the bad? Does it even matter? My mom used to do this thing where she would be like, there's good news and there's bad news. Which one do you want to hear first? And I'm just like, I don't know. The fact that there's bad news doesn't make me feel very good. You know what? I'll start off with the bad so that we can end off on a good note. So for me, the biggest issue I had was the color story. I've always wanted to try Juvia's Place eyeshadow palettes because I hear really good things about the quality, and I have to agree, it's very good. I didn't have any trouble working with these shadows, so that's not the bad part. For me, I just felt really uninspired by this eyeshadow palette, so it's really a personal preference thing. I had a hard time putting the colors together. For me, this is a weird color story. So for me, the issue was coming up with 3 very different looks to showcase the eyeshadows because I felt like they kind of clashed. I suppose the other con for me is the price. $20 to me is kind of expensive. When you break it down, it's a little over $2 per shadow. And these are huge shadows, by the way. Like my BH Cosmetics one, you can see in comparison, like these are at least double the size. And when you do the math, it's a little over $2 per eyeshadow, which isn't bad, but at the same time, I have 42 eyeshadows right now, and this was $14, $15. I will say I have seen this go as low as $10. So if you are interested in this eyeshadow palette, the quality, you're not going to be disappointed, and I feel like for $10 that's way more reasonable, but for $20 I feel like this is a little overpriced. But if you feel like you're going to get a lot of use out of these colors and they are inspiring to you, wait for it to go on sale for $10. If you get this, I don't think you're going to be disappointed about the quality. It's very good. The main issue I had was I had a hard time coming up with 3 very different looks. And that is it for this video, so I hope that you enjoyed, and if you did, don't forget to like this video and feel free to comment down below what other types of videos you'd like to see from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!